Okay, I'm sure you've seen lots of people with the Coleman stove, Coleman oven. The problem with the Coleman oven, it doesn't have a glass window. Well, let's understand, a glass window actually can be broke. Now they do include an extra glass window, so they're expecting you to break it. So you really need to take care of this. Now it does come in its own case, which is really nice. It goes together super easy. Has 3 grates. And you'll notice you see 2 temperature gauges. The one on the bottom comes with the stove. The one that's on the top, I bought extra just to compare to see if they're equal to the same temperature, if it's actually keeping temperature properly. This is actually on a Stanport stove, 3 burner, and only the middle burner is on. And within 5 minutes, it started heating up. And I mean that, 5 minutes. No less, no more. And it's still continuing to go. So this is pretty impressive. Now, when you actually put this together, you have to take note. The top and the bottom are separate. So you open it up. Now, inside on each side are clips. You want to clip them because if you don't, then where it folds, it'll fold in. So that's very important. Put your top on, put your bottom on, and put your grates in, and you're pretty much ready to go and start baking, whatever you choose. So let's have a closer look. You probably see my reflection. So the bottom one's 250 dead on. The top one is just under 250. I'd say 240 is what I'd say. So we're looking at about 10 degrees off. Now you got to understand where I've got that top one that's in the middle. This one could be, the bottom one could be measuring from the bottom. Now I have one other thing inside this oven that most people have probably not thought of. I have a pizza stone that I bought for about 30 bucks, and I measured the sizes, and it's sitting in the bottom. Now that pizza stone is going to disperse the heat better. Some people have used fire bricks. So, and this ain't for backpacking. So when you go car camping, you can literally have yourself an oven out there and be cooking whatever you want. Everything from cake to cookies to shish kebabs, you name it, is what you could have. Okay, what are we at now? Let's see. I don't know, 280. We're not even at 300 yet. The one here in the top says 300 and a little. So it seems like the middle is now hotter than the bottom. Now, what I've done is I've added pre-cookie mix, and I put it on my titanium plate because that fits pretty good. And I'm going to put that in when apparently I'm supposed to start that at 350. And for about 10 to 12 minutes it says to cook the cookies. So this should be interesting. Now think about this. Okay, you've lost your power. Okay. You get a craving for cookies. You are going to be the only one that can make cookies. You really are. Your oven doesn't work. Nothing works. You can set this up on a Coleman, or in this case, a Stanport stove, 3 burner, and hook it to a big propane tank. I have it hooked to a big propane tank. And basically you're off and ready to go. So let's have a look at my temperature now. This is just under the 300 still. This one in the middle says 350. So that's why I never really like those bottom ones very good. You know, that's the thing. So let's go with the middle one of 350 and put our cookies in. Okay, I had to do a readjustment here. That's what I had to do. Now our middle temperature gauge said 350, and this thing says about 280. So when the bottom gauge says 280, we're in the middle at 350. I'll try and move out of the way here. So this way my reflection is not in that stove. Make it easier for you guys to see. So let me turn the light on. We can see our cookies there, see them? So that's turning up pretty good. And our temperature is, well, we're climbing. We're almost getting to 300. So, oh, I can smell them. Oh, that smells good. So literally, once you put the stove together, it takes like, I don't know, a couple minutes. It's nothing. Now, of course, when I added the pizza stone, it made everything much heavier. And there's some things you got to be careful with here. You got to be careful of your pizza stone because you don't want to crack that. It's pretty thick and heavy. And then you have to understand you got a window so you can see. See, with the Coleman stove, you're always having to open the door and look inside. And when you're doing that, you're losing your heat very quickly. So I think this is a whole better setup. And it is pretty big. You know, it fits this titanium plate. Now, I did try some pans that I had in the house, but they were too big. So a titanium plate fits nice, but you may have to buy a couple pans, pay attention to the measurements, and get 2 or 3 pans to actually put in this. You could cook chicken in here. You could roast chicken. It's just amazing what you can do with this little gadget. So, how do we look now? Oh yeah, they're spreading out. See that? I originally rolled these up and dropped them in. I didn't put no butter, didn't spray it with nothing at all. So it looks like they're spreading out. Temperature gauge almost 300, which is the bottom, which is probably means that's probably 400 now in the middle, is what that is. I could turn the heat down a little bit, but the cookies don't look like they're burning whatsoever. Now again, this is for camping with a car or a truck. This ain't for backpacking. I mean, this thing weighs, I think, around 12 pounds. So altogether, I guess this thing's been running for maybe about 10 minutes on one burner. Now, if you had those bigger stoves, and I was almost going to buy one of those, you know, where they push 30,000 BTU, oh, you could probably heat this thing up in a matter of minutes, is what you could do. But I wanted to see if it worked on my stand port, is what I wanted to do. Because this is mainly what I use when I go truck camping. Oh, they're spreading out nice, eh? Look at that. Now this gauge down here finally says 300. So I'm sure that middle is around 4. It's what I'm seeing. And like I said, I have that pizza stone on the bottom, which is dispersing the heat a whole lot better inside there. Now this whole unit, okay, is very hot. You don't want to touch this with your hands. You want to have a pair of gloves if you're going to touch that. Especially you open the door and close the door. That is somewhat a little bit difficult. When I opened the door and took the temperature gauge out, it was a little bit difficult to get it closed. If I wouldn't have had gloves, I had gloves when I did it. So it worked pretty good. Okay, let's have a look at this. It looks brown on the bottom. So let's have a look and take this out and see how this is actually going to look. And are they going to look fine? So again, like I said, wear a pair of gloves because it does get hot. There's our cookies. Oh yeah, they're a little brown, a little soft. Ouch, ouch, getting hot. Getting hot. Oh yeah. So I'm going to leave this out now. That's amazing, huh? Yeah, you let them cool off, and they start to get hard. Look at that, like a regular cookie. Oh yeah. Let's have a look at the bottom. Turn them over. Now I cooked that on a titanium plate, right? That's freaking amazing. I think this is better than the Coleman stove, but I do think you need to invest in the pizza stone. I'll have a link to this so you don't even got to guess. You'll know exactly what pizza stone to get, and it fits in there perfectly, super tight. And I think that's all I got with it. I got the pizza stone, and I got the temperature gauge to see what's going on. But I'll have a link to that. I'll have a link to the stove. And if you're watching this right now, I think they're 20% off. They could go up later. But it's a really cool camping idea. Think of that. You could have an actual oven at your campground. Catch you guys on the next one.